but I was in a headspace of kind of wanting to do something more. I've always had a more like entrepreneurial mindset, always kind of a doer, a go getter in a sense. So it went from a team of four people to just me. For a second, I was panicking. So I would say that even though this isn't tangible to the development of the application, I'm proud of just being resilient and not giving up when honestly it could have been very easy to just quit on it.
Welcome to the Founders Clinic, where we talk to founders and the C level using innovation to build a better future. Stay tuned for inspiring stories, real challenges, smart wins, and practical insights. We hope this clinic helps you grow, heal, and thrive on your own journey. Welcome, everyone, to your favorite clinic, the Founders Clinic. Today, I have a really special guest, Mike Hyman, who is the founder and CEO of Salus Wellness, company that is empowering wellness one connection at a time. Mike, it's a pleasure to have you on the post.
It's a great pleasure that you reached out to me and that we're able to speak today. I'm definitely happy to be here.
Thanks a lot for accepting the invitation. Let's just start with you. Tell us a bit about yourself and Salus. How did Salus come to be?
Yeah, so a bit of background about myself. I'm 21 years old. I recently graduated from NYU. I was a business student, also minored in psychology. How Salus came about was honestly, I would say, a pretty interesting story. I was very busy my first semester of senior year, but I was in a headspace of kind of wanting to do something more. I've always had a more like entrepreneurial mindset, always kind of a doer, a go getter in a sense, like even down to like mowing lawns for other people or selling candy in school when I kind of shouldn't have been doing that in terms of like school rules and legalities. But I've always kind of had a sense of like hustle and grit, and I wanted to apply that to something other than just writing a thesis or going through classes and doing homework and things like that. And I think I forgot what the idea was that came about before it, but I think I ended up scrapping it because either I just didn't believe in it very much or it just sounded cool, but then I found a bunch of other companies that kind of did the same thing. And then I remembered two of my best friends that became personal trainers at Crunch Fitness in New York City. They worked at the Wall Street location in specific. And they told me how outside of the payments aspect, they felt like one, they were having trouble with attracting clients, and two, that any clients that they did get, they had to go about the scheduling process, the messaging. If they wanted to track progress, sometimes they're literally using pencil and paper, or they take notes in Excel, or even using the Notes app to be able to keep the progress on a week-to-week basis with the clients that they're dealing with. And I just thought that is definitely an inefficiency that could and should be solved. So what ended up happening, I think it was October 17th, that exact day, October 17th, 2024, a week after I even thought of the idea. There's an entrepreneurship center in the business school, like Stern, that's what it's called. And they had an event called Pitch Power Hour. You get 1 minute to pitch the idea, and you get 1 minute of questions to kind of receive feedback and also to help validate your idea itself. And of course, it was a very rough idea for me. And at the time, I think I only was thinking about a marketplace for trainers to be able to even attract clients. So I literally I pitched the idea. I definitely sounded a little shaky because it didn't sound like the idea was nowhere near as clear as I wanted it to be. But I just knew that if I wanted to take this seriously and if I wanted to put myself in the game, regardless of if I may embarrass myself or if things don't seem 100% altogether, it's better I put myself in the situation to receive feedback and potentially find people that do want to work with me rather than me just kind of sitting back and not taking any action. So I did that, and I ended up with a development team. It was a father and son, and I don't know why exactly they came to NYU to watch this event, but they saw me pitch, and they believed in me. They believed in the idea. They reached out to me via email afterwards, and then we had a couple meetings, and then I ended up finding a co-founder. I think a few days after the first meeting, I told him about the idea. It was someone that I knew for a couple years at this point, and I trusted how he was a very serious person, and I like how goal oriented he was. Plus, he had a more technical skill set than I did, so I just felt like we kind of went hand in hand. And then from there, we built Salus.
That's an incredible story, and it reminds me when you ask these, unicorns, big companies, the advice that they always give you is just start, just start, just start. So it really reminded me of that, and I think that's one key lesson here, and it's just start. If you have an idea, if you have a product, if you want to scale it from $0 to $1 million, from $1 million to 5 million, just start. Just give the first steps, get the feedback, get the reps done, and you will get there. If you don't start, you will not get there. Tell us a little bit more about Salus. Who do you serve and how do you serve them?
Yeah, so we serve coaches, like wellness coaches and personal trainers. Personal trainers more to if we're going to get more granular and specific. And basically, we're trying to help them with like an all-in-one platform to be able to help track progress with their clients, help track invoices, especially those that work independent of a gym. They're having to get the money from different resources, say physical cash, Cash App, Zelle, Venmo, getting say a wire transfer, anything that you could kind of think of. If the personal trainer has it and if the client has it, they'll use it towards at their disposal. So being able to kind of have a conglomerate of all of those features, and especially having an AI co-pilot that's going to be able to help with onboarding, help with even creating the plans over time, having smart recommendations for the client or even like the trainer to switch up the plan depending on the progress that may happen over time, to even have smart notifications to say, oh, hey, you have a session with John on March 15th at 5 p.m. Or even saying, oh, hey, do you want me to build this client for this session? Or do you want to potentially go towards a monthly package or selling a session package rather than just doing a one-off situation? So kind of having AI, not just to slap it on as like a sticker to say, oh yeah, we have AI in our company, but to be able to really alleviate the admin work that a lot of trainers do have to deal with and could definitely pose an annoyance. And for them to be able to have that right-hand man for them to be able to focus on doing the thing that they actually do. Because a lot of trainers, they don't actually get in it for the money specifically, because generally, even though personal trainers can make a good deal of money, outside of if you're working, say, doing online training or selling fitness coaching in packages, a lot of it is more so you're trading your time for money. So unless if you're charging $200-300 an hour, which is possible, but is unlikely, depending on the trainer's experience and expertise, is more so just being passionate about being in the fitness space that kind of leads them towards doing this.
100%. And for those new listeners that have not joined our episodes before, my normal background is in consulting management, and I always say strategy is about focus, and focus is about finding that where you add the most value and double down into that. And it seems like that's what you are enabling the coaches to do. Find that where they truly add value, and everything else where they don't. Let technology handle that so you can maximize your impact. So that sounds amazing. Is there anything recent that you or the team are proud about? Any win, any milestone, any strengths that feel unique?
So right now it's in a very early stage process. We're looking towards we are building a landing page. But as of right now, it's kind of in the design process. It's taking longer than I thought it would take, but we're going through a rebranding, kind of giving it more of like a Roman heritage type of vibe, because Salus, the literal meaning of the word, is the Roman goddess of health and wellness. So we're trying to kind of lean into that more rather than just looking like a tech startup, like a typical tech startup that you would see like on the internet in 2025. So I want to separate ourselves from where that space is and really bring something new and refreshing to the table, because I do have a feeling that a lot of tech startups can either look, say, too playful or too corporate, depending on like how that would look for Salus. So in terms of something that I'm specifically proud of, to kind of go into context, the development team that I had and the co-founder that I had, co-founder ended up leaving as of recently, I'll say in late May, to accept an AI engineering role. And he has to kind of be full-time, all hands on deck. And although he wanted to juggle both obligations, he knew that this is, for right now, this is what he should be doing, which I fully respected. And then the development team, they were on an equity basis, but they realized that without, say, the technical co-founder, they feel as if a lot of the pressure is going to be on them to have to deliver the MVP, and either they would have to charge me or they would have to take a large sum of the equity. And even though I did offer them that sum because they were very integral to the beginning of how this company formed, they ended up declining and saying, hey, like, just come back to us, say, later, or honestly just keep in contact when things are farther along, and let's see what we could do then. So it went from a team of 4 people to just me. Now, in that regard, I for a second I was panicking. I have to be honest. It felt as if things were actually starting to gain traction, and we were starting to really get somewhere. And then it felt like it kind of all got ripped away, and now I have to figure out, what am I going to do? So immediately I went into, okay, how can I build a team that could support the vision that I'm thinking of delivering on? So I went to Wellfound, I went to Handshake, even LinkedIn, and I ended up building a team fairly quickly. So I would say that even though this isn't tangible to the development of the application, I'm proud of just being resilient and not giving up when honestly it could have been very easy to just quit on it at this point. So now, as I said, we're kind of building out the brand identity, and through there, we should honestly be finishing up with the landing page, starting a wait list to kind of build a level of, 1, legitimacy, and 2, excitement towards the brand, and waiting until the MVP is finished to launch, and then also start fundraising to gain angel investment and build onwards from there.
Oh, wow, that's a very inspiring story. So thank you for sharing. We always say here it's the founders clinic. So what clinic will be without pain points, and we're on a mission to normalize that there are challenges along the way, and that the companies that succeed, it's not because everything was perfect, but as you put it, and I really liked it, you persevere and you push through, and that's how you find success. So that's incredible, and I believe that most of the founders can connect with what you are saying, because that's the founder's journey, and that's amazing. Thank you very much for sharing. And now, if you look ahead, if you look into the next 6, 12 months, what's the vision? Where do you envision Salus to be?
In terms of, honestly, I haven't looked too far ahead, but that is something that I guess should keep in mind. I guess for me, I tend to not look too far to the finish line before getting through the hurdles and the obstacles that are ahead. In terms of right now, of course, is 1, getting the MVP out within the next 4 to 6 weeks and getting on the App Store. Then 2, I would want to quickly grow and, of course, get garner interest from influencers to really kind of grow this, 1, into a brand that's kind of used across the U.S., and 2, expanding globally. Especially, this is an application that, where it's a health tech startup and things are remote. There's not a lot of overhead. This can honestly grow quickly if our go-to-market strategy is correct. Of course, we're not going to get it perfect on the first shot. We're going to always have to go back to the drawing board. But I think within this next year, if we can go from this point of, we're literally trying to still define how we want our front face to look, to now this is something where like the biggest trainers and the biggest users are able to use that application. Honestly, I feel as if that would be a great accomplishment in terms of the impact that I would be able to leave. And not even just for the trainers to be able to use, but I would want to expand towards clients being able to use the application autonomously from what the trainer may have for them. I wouldn't want it to just be a trainer companion app for the client. I want to add certain features that would even prioritize, say, diet, journaling, like mindset integration, even a co-pilot for wanting to build out their own program. Say if they don't even have a personal trainer, this is just a user that finds value in the app and wants to use this to integrate into their own daily operations. Even being able to gamify it, say if there's streaks or badges or milestones that they hit, to be able to progress towards their goals in terms of physical fitness, and then of course expanding more so into the a more holistic realm of wellness. That does sound very rough now that I'm hearing it coming out of my mouth, but that's more so just a rough vision of where I want things to be. I do want to think very like blue sky at the end of the day, because anything is possible.
You're totally right, and that's something that I really agree with. And it's that if you look that integral view, like if you look at the solutions that are now in the market, there are a couple that are really great, but it feels to me that it lacks that integrity of everything in one, right? And then you have to end up having like 2 3 applications to do all the things that really embody being around wellness and health. So that's an incredible vision. And also I have the opportunity with talk with many founders, and it's incredible how much things can be accelerated when you have the right combination of pushing, passion, doing this for a superior purpose, and you put on the hours and the talent. And literally, it can be a total different day in 1 year. And I have seen companies scale from 0 to 1 million plus in such short frame. But what they have in common always is that focus, is that passion or a superior purpose, and that work hard, that hours that they are willing to invest to for that vision to come true. So that's really inspiring. Then I was just going to ask, my question is, if you had a magic wand and could instantly fix just one thing that may be slowing you down, what would it be? What will be game changer?
A magic wand. I would say, I guess, like a simple one would just be if I had, like, say, like the capital to just really bootstrap this without like investors. I mean, that's a pretty easy one. Of course, like money can solve a lot of issues, not everything, of course, but it would be able to one, build although I do have a team, I do feel honestly responsible for wanting to build this out even faster so I can get to the point of actually paying them like a respectable salary. That's part of the motivation as to why I feel so passionately about this and why I do want to go at this, because even if I may not be 100% in it, if my head is, say, sometimes I may feel lost on where I'm going, because especially as a founder, you have to basically have your hands in everything. You have to be your own legal team. You have to be your own accountant. At some level, you do need to know a little bit of how development works. You do need to know a bit of how design works. You do need to know how to sell. You need to know how you're going to market the app. How are you going to go to market, even with market research, slide deck design. How are you going to pitch this? So it does become one, a lot of work, and then two, at times you really feel like you're kind of like a fish out of water. You don't really know what exactly you're doing. And I guess if I were to have that capital, one, to be able to pay them, and two, to be able to seek expert advice from people that may not have done exactly what I'm doing now, but have been in a similar vertical and they know how to build out a business to success.
That's incredible. That's incredible. And I really like when people define success in a way that it's beyond just the monetary aspect, but really about an impact and giving opportunities. So I'm sure that purpose will push you on those dark days, because as you mentioned, that's the founder's journey.
In terms of what I was going to say, I, at the end of the day, even though I have honestly, at some level, a psychotic level of self confidence and vision that I am the person to get the job done, even at times where I do feel lost, I can't. It would really hurt me to say that I failed the team that took their time to and believed in me and believed in this vision, and say if I were to quit on this without actually giving it a fair shot. There's one thing if, say, a startup fails, you give it all you've gotten, or say you're now going into debt, God forbid. But if you just quit because, say, you're not believing in it, or you're thinking that, what, I kind of want to go into another direction, one, that honestly could do damage to your reputation, and two, that just may not be something that would sit well in your soul. And I can't speak for everyone, but for me, that's something that although life does move on, I would not feel I would not feel very well with having to carry that burden.
That's totally true, and I believe that's one of the most impactful and rewarding parts, but also most more burden one aspect of the founder journey. And it's when you start having people that depend on you. And at the beginning, it's hard, but it's not I mean, it's complex, but it's not hard in the sense of it's just you, and it's you, and you have to have 10 multiple hats, as you were saying, but no one is relying on you. Of course, the family, etc., but in a sense, no one is relying on you. But then once you start having a team and they have bought into the vision and they are part of your journey, they start relying on you. And then that's something that can be a fuel if you use it correctly, but it can also be a burden. And that's why that stage of the journey, normally it's the one that is the most regarding, because you are seeing the impact you're having in others, but also one of the most difficult, because I guess that the stress and the pressure also maximizes.
Indeed.
That's the founder's journey. Well, we'll grab with a few rapid fire questions, short, sharp, and tactical. One book or resource that you would recommend for health tech founders?
One book or resource. I would say this isn't going to be health tech founder specific. I feel like this is founder specific. Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. That I've read that book back in high school. That is the best book I've ever read. It talks about kind of like drifters versus non-drifters, like people that are kind of moving about life in an unfocused manner, sometimes completely aimless, and kind of the traits and the qualities that go about like that type of person. And most people do tend to be drifters, even if they may have goals and aspirations. They may get caught up in they may just get caught up in life. Like they may have children, have a family to worry about. They have bills to pay, loans, student loans to deal with, or may not have an idea of what they even want to do in their life. And it's easy to kind of get yourself caught up in those situations. So I would say definitely reading that and kind of paying attention to the character traits of what a drifter may be, because very much so likely you may have traits of that sort or of that nature, and kind of shifting your focus to kind of being laser aligned with the vision that you have and the goals that you want to achieve.
Amazing recommendation. And AI is here, and we are in the middle of a revolution. So what's one AI tool or platform you could not live without right now?
You know what? As like simple as it sounds, honestly, it's like Chat GPT Pro. Like, oh, it's actually it's so great. Of course, is not going to be able to synthesize through more like creative activities. That's where I do feel like is it's an AI proof sector, like those that are more like creative fields. But say if you just need like quick answers to something, or you just need to know like what does this mean on, like, say, like a legal document, or just having to do some quick research, it's just so quick in terms of you being able to get your answer like pretty seemingly. And honestly, it's simple. Basically everyone uses it, but for me it's helped me out so much with kind of working through those bottlenecks that can happen on a day-to-day as a founder.
Sometimes the more basic, called GPT basic, and it's not, but the more basic tools are the ones that enable you the most. So that's incredible. And what's one thing that you are grateful for?
One thing that I'm grateful for, honestly, I'm grateful for the chance to always be able to do it again, right? And what I mean by that is not every day is going to be your best day. Like even for me yesterday, feels like a lot of my day kind of got wasted in terms of running errands, and I never really got to work on Salus like I would have wanted to, and how I planned for the day to pan out. And of course, any day that I'm not necessarily working towards my goal and my vision, it could potentially be a day that kind of pushes back progress. And you don't have unlimited days while living on this planet. But being able to just wake up and just say, you know what, yesterday was yesterday. This is my opportunity to kind of make do on what I may have missed from the day before and to be better for the next day. Honestly, it's something that is very simple, but it does get taken for granted. But I do greatly appreciate being able to do that.
That's incredible, and have had some of those days that you are mentioning, and as you say, like sometimes just having the next day on the next day something that you are really grateful for, and one takes it for granted. There's actually one story that you reminded me, and it's if I will offer you $1 million right now, would you take them? No strings attached, nothing, just $1 million for you. And of course, most people say, yeah, instantly. But then if I tell you, okay, and if I give you $1 million, but you will not get to see tomorrow, most people will definitely not take it. And so that means that the next day, tomorrow, is worth more than $1 million. And yet when you open your eyes the next day, you don't act as if you had won $1 million or even more. So that's an incredible reminder that you are giving us to really value each day and the possibilities that comes within it. Mike, this has been an incredible conversation. How can people connect with you and how can they follow your work at Salus?
Yes. So my Instagram is the Mike Hyman. Also on LinkedIn, I think it's Mike dash Hyman dash five. If that's like after the main like part of the domain. So yeah, that's my profile on LinkedIn, on Instagram, the Mike Hyman. Salus, go.salus on Instagram, and Salus Wellness on LinkedIn. Currently building out, of course, a Twitter or X page, and improving on like the Instagram and Facebook. But although it's still very early, but I just want to kind of make sure that one, we cover those bases, and two, at least you're able to find us.
That's incredible. I will make sure to write them down in the description so people can check it out. Mike, I'm incredibly inspired not only for the way in which you are empowering wellness, but also for your vision, your resilience, and pushing through a superior purpose. That's what you are building with Salus. So I'm really grateful for your time. Have a great one.